Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I think we're getting everybody on.
We got to turn around the camera.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Do that.
Good. How are you?
I don't know why it shows now with the other side. Hang on.
Technical difficulties. Remind me the bass player's handle.
I don't even know.
Hopefully he'll show. I know I just added it and then was like, oh shoot, I can't remember what it was. How's your day been?
Hey, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Headed into the weekend.
Finally.
It's all good.
What you drinking? Thank you.
Dragon's milk. I love a good stout.
Awesome. All right, someone in the chat gave me the handle, so we're good. Let's see if we can get Taryn back on.
Thank you, Jane, for doing that.
There you
go. I love your hair.
Thank you. The blue's a lot more, like, it's a blue purple, but it's a lot more to, like, keep up.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, send the invite. Let's see if he can get on. Yeah, JoJo, she's in the chat right now. She's one of our group. She's a hairstylist. She said she loves your color.
Oh, thank you. I do it myself. Well, I actually do it with the help of my husband, but yeah.
Yeah. That's always helpful.
Yeah. I can pretty much bleach it and like dye it myself, but it's the back parts that tend to be the issue.
Right. I know I used to dye my hair at home and that was always the biggest pain.
I'm gonna turn my light down. Does it still look good with this lighting?
Yeah.
I like to stare at. Ellen and I now have the same ring light.
Yeah.
So.
I know I had to get one too. I sent the invite. We can wait and see if he joins, but if you guys want to get started, how did you each individually get into music?
Alan, you want to take that one first?
Oh, so we're going way back to ancient times, are we?
Yeah.
I'll do my best to summarize. Growing up, my house was filled with nothing but country, and somebody told me to hit the join button. Where's that at? I thought I was there.
No, you are. I think they might be telling Russ to just hit the join button.
Okay. My house was filled with country and gospel music only. At the tender age of 11, my sister gave me, and I hope everybody's sitting down, an 8-track tape of, Kiss Alive. And that began my journey.
Awesome.
So that was a lot shorter than I thought it would be. I actually decided when I was like 5 years old that I was going to be a rock star interior designer. And I actually went to school for interior design. So professionally, I am an interior designer. And I've been in bands since I was like 15. One of my first loves, and it might be apparent, it might not be apparent, is Nightwish. And ever since I discovered Nightwish, I was like, I want to do that. Like, not exactly that, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because before that, I was like in punk bands. I have no direction. Like, I was just trying to figure out my voice. But by the time I fell in love with Nightwish, I was like, that's basically what I want to do. Like, gothic, metal, that kind of thing. And then it's just been going ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It keeps saying he's unable to join. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'll keep trying. Hopefully we'll get him on sometime.
But yeah, weird permissions.
Yeah, I love your guys' music. It's like very calming. Like your voice is so, like somebody just put in the chat, your voice is beautiful. It totally is. And yeah, sorry, mosquito. Yeah, my JoJo put in the chat, I was thinking Nightwish, Lacuna Coil, Within Temptation, Evanescence.
Yeah.
Definitely all those.
Well, thank you.
Did Lilith Rising get started?
Well, Alan and I actually started together in a previous band called Winter Solstice. Yeah. So he didn't like the name. He makes no bones about that. But I joined after another singer left. And this is actually in the midst of like pandemic times. And I was actually really depressed. So it was really good for me to join the band. Thankfully, our mutual friend Jeff reached out and was like, "Hey, you still looking for a band?" And I was like, yeah, totally. And ultimately, the guitarist left, and that was like the last original besides Alan in that band. And at one point, I can't remember exactly when, I think he texted me. He says, "What do you think about rebranding?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we...
so much I asked about rebranding. I think it was like, we're going to rebrand.
Yeah. Because he was basically like, I was the last, remaining person in the band, so I wanted to do something different. He's like, I never really liked the name. I never really liked the sound. So we want to do something different. And we both love Nightwish, and we love things in that realm. Can you name other bands that you'd brought up before we became Lilith Rising? I can't really remember.
I know we were
in that vein. Yeah. What was that?
We were standing outside that club in Myrtle Beach, and initially in the original band chat, I had thrown out a bunch of names in Greek, which they read really cool, but when you translated them, it was all had to do with bacon.
Yeah. One was literally, "I love bacon." And what's funny is that Lilith, the song "Dear Lilith," I actually wrote prior to us becoming Lilith Rising. So I was kind of stuck in this whole, I wear like the sigil. I was stuck in that, like, what if we did something with the Lilith name, like something around that, Black Moon Lilith, that kind of thing. So we were searching for what would do well. Latin seemed like a cool idea, but it was like overdone and hard to pronounce and all that stuff. So we eventually became Lilith Rising. We were in South Carolina at the time, and we just decided this is the name that we want to go with. And then at that point, our previous guitarist that was there at the time, that's when we launched Lilith Rising with the song Goddess Rising, and then just kept going from there. It's been a journey up until this point. It's been a very much long, a little bit hard journey to get to.
I can imagine. That's awesome. Well, what are some bands that have inspired you? Obviously Nightwish, but what are some other bands that you've been influenced by?
Okay, I guess I'll go first with that one. Taryn already knows the answer to that. I'm a child of the 80s, so for me, it has and always will be Van Halen. My primary drum kit, I model after one of Alex Van Halen's drum kits. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, The Police, actually, Missing Persons, just all that stuff. All that stuff during the 80s, I think, or I feel like set me up for where we're at now with the symphonic and everything like that. It was just a journey from that into the European style of music, which is just phenomenal. Therion, Nightwish, Within Temptation.
That was the one.
Very young. Actually, tomorrow night they're playing their one show in Mexico City with a full orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting here in North Carolina.
So. There's a lot of stuff being here in North Carolina. So one of my favorite bands is actually coming to, well, two actually of my favorite bands is coming to North Carolina. One of them is Blackbriar, which I don't think I was really following at the time. And the other one is Battle Beast. I originally was influenced greatly by Nightwish with The Temptation. You're going to hear some like electronic stuff in our songs. And that is mainly Collides. If you've ever heard of Collide, there's this like, I think they're still making music to this day, but they're like this electronic gothic dance music that I was really into when I was like 16 and I just love. Paramore, even though she's technically younger than me, she's like inspiring in that way. I really liked old No Doubt, newer No Doubt, not so much. Yeah. I'm very much drawn to the woman-fronted bands. It's not a genre, but it's necessarily just like the energy that it gives off. So prior to it being Nightwish, but prior to her being Nightwish, I liked After Forever. Everything in that realm, just very inspiring, powerful woman-fronted bands. Not that I didn't like the male-fronted bands, I did like them. I was obsessed with Finger 11. At some point, I want to do a cover of Finger 11, if I can do it. Same thing with Linkin Park. Obsessed with Linkin Park. Want to do a cover. And like put some of the like symphonic stuff into that. That'd be really cool. My range goes from like one end to the other, aside from country. But I'm inspired by lots of different things, and I think you can kind of tell that from the music because it is not quite in one particular genre. It's kind of doing its own thing, which I like.
Wait a minute. Wasn't there a Brantley Gilbert song you wanted to cover?
No. If I was going to cover any country song, it would probably be some like Martina McBride type of stuff or something like that.
Yeah, female country. It's good though to have those different influences and put that stuff in your music because it keeps it fresh. It keeps it, interesting. So it's not just the same thing over and over.
Yeah, and that's what I hope. Like, it's kind of why we can't really do an album. There's a little bit of an ADHD in the music, and that is probably my fault. Also Jason's fault, our guitarist. So it's like, it's not really fault. It's part of the magic that we're doing right now. So we're kind of jumping from one to the other to the next. But I think the idea is that we like symphonic, we like adding like electronic stuff to it, and we like adding in the witchy stuff. So we can basically just put it underneath the umbrella of gothic metal and just keep it there for now.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the messages to answer you, Jessica. I personally do like Amaranthi, love their music, and yes, Jason, it is your fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. You introduced the future, which then projected us, because when he first joined, he had the song The Future. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's great. And that one is probably one of the few songs that I didn't introduce by just like singing it into the microphone and then the music forming around it. That was formed prior to him coming into the band. And then the guitarist at the time, because he joined as a bassist, like I said, it's a journey. And he joins as a bassist, and then he's like, hey, I have this idea. I want to know what you think of it. And I really liked it. And I was like, yes, but more symphonic stuff added to it. I love it. And then I added lyrics to it. And then it came out. So, yeah.
Why am I getting messages about join at the bottom, blah, 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 blah?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not getting them. Maybe it's because your first time joining a live on Instagram, and this is not my first time.
I don't even know. I mean, all I can see is me. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, you're good. I don't know why it's doing that. It keeps telling me your bassist is unable to join us, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but
yeah, I
maybe
saw a message at the top says I give up.
he's like, I'm done. Does your guitarist want to come on?
I think he's at
work.
work
Oh,
right
is he?
now. So he can't join. So
No way.
unfortunately, a lot of the interviews are just my face, you know, and then sometimes Alan joins. But up until recently, we haven't had, not recent, it's been since May. I think that we haven't had a stable uh, band unit, basically. So,
Right.
yeah, I think it was May. He's in chat. So everybody say hi to Russ. He's in chat and Jason's in chat. Say hi to them.
Sorry, I don't know why it's not letting you, but yeah. If you want to say anything, just put in the chat. We'll say it for you.
Sad face.
But yeah, how are you talking about not being able to really release an album because everything's so different? Well, a lot of bands are pretty much just focusing on singles nowadays. I think that's pretty much the trend. But it also, like, as a listener, it gives you something to look forward to when you're constantly having these new releases coming up. So it's definitely exciting.
Yeah, I really like that.
It seems to make more sense as well, because if you keep releasing singles every so many months, then that keeps you in the forefront, that keeps you relevant, that keeps your name out there, keeps your music out there, as opposed to trying to do a full album and then support that album, and then by the time you start working on your next album, you've wasted a lot of time in between there. So you kind of lose that momentum that you gained.
Yeah.
Right.
Until we have to like join a record company, which I'm only giving up for one particular record company, because I've been signed before and labels are not your friends usually. But I like the idea of doing that and then putting it down as an EP like I did this past year. So I'm saying I because I'm the one uploading it to DistroKid. But what we did is we put the future at the top and then the rest of the songs that we released for that year in an EP. So if you want to listen to them consecutively in the order that we intended them to be in, then you can wait to the EP. But for the most part, you're going to get song after song after song, and it's just fun.
Yeah, makes it interesting. So I know you guys have some upcoming stuff that you wanted to talk about. Did you want to go ahead and discuss what's going on with the band?
Yeah. I'm going to make sure that's not frozen anymore for Alan. Are you good,
I'm
Alan?
Good. I got confused with the messages that were meant for Russ.
No.
Yeah. No,
well, JoJo says it completely froze for her too. So, well, what we have currently coming up is we are going to launch a Patreon this year. Lots of people want us to tour, which is really great. We do want to do that. However, touring costs money. And we don't make a lot of money at all doing shows. Basically nothing. We definitely don't make any money off of the songs unless you head over to Bandcamp and buy them, which you can do that.
And we're all really hungry, so please feed us.
We're also hungry. So the best way for us to be like, hey, maybe we can come see you in your city, like Chicago, or some people have asked us to go all the way to the West Coast or Texas or whatever, is maybe support the Patreon. So we're going to launch that at the end of this month. The idea is that they get like first looks, they get singles before everybody else does. They get demos. We're also going to be doing live streams that are just exclusively for them first, maybe releasing them out later for everybody else. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully it goes well. And then we have another song that we're working on, right? Well, 2 songs actually. We're working on a cover and we're working on a original that we're hoping to release very soon. The idea is to get that cover, and Jason didn't answer me today, so I'm assuming he was ignoring my message. But get that cover out with the launch of the Patreon so they get to hear it first. And then it goes live for everybody else like a week later. And then at the end of February, we're looking to release an original for that too. And we got lots of shows coming up too, but Alan could probably take that over if he wants to talk a little bit about that.
God,
I was asleep. I was working third.
That's the toughest thing about it, is trying to book shows. But yeah, we've got, if I remember this right, we've got March the 7th. We're with Illusions of Grain.
No.
We don't have that one?
No, the venue never answered back. So March 9th is our first one.
Oh, well, my birthday, March the 9th. We're opening for Waking Terra at the Rooster in Gastonia. April 7th, I think it is. We're in Charlotte again, or back in Charlotte. April 26th, we're in Asheville, North Carolina. May the 4th, back in Gastonia for an all-day festival for Veterans Benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting on confirmation for May 18th in Raleigh, North Carolina. Working on shows for South Carolina, Georgia,
Tennessee,
mm-hmm. Pennsylvania again.
We have one basically confirmed for Pennsylvania. We're going to be there hopefully in September. Right. I haven't gotten the definite, but we're going to be back in Pennsylvania for that.
That one's in Virginia. Oh,
no, it is. Yeah, it's in Virginia. So We'll be in Winchester. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then October, hopefully back in Pennsylvania during October. It's just we'll play anywhere with anyone. We're not scared. We don't mind. It's just getting these venues to give us an opportunity to come in and show what we've got.
Yeah. And I've been casually DMing bands that I love, just to be like, hey, I love you. And we would like to play with you. We realize you're a bigger band than us. We will totally open for you. A couple of them have answered me back and been like, yeah, totally. I got super excited. This was right before I think they really blew up at Edge of Paradise. I was in their comments and they were like, yeah, sure, let's do a show together sometime soon. But that was probably not going to happen anytime soon, but maybe one day. They seem like really cool people. And then there's a couple bands north of us that I'm really into as well. There's one in Chicago that I really want to play with. Bellenia, I believe. And yeah, so I'm just casually letting people know, hey, let's come and tour with you or support you on tour or something like that.
That's kind of like us. We message random people. It's like, hey, we like your music. Would you be interested in coming on a live with us?
Yeah.
That's exciting though. You got a lot of upcoming shows, and then the Patreon's always fun. So that should be a good time for all your fans.
That is, she says NYC. So yeah. One of the bands that actually she's an artist. One of the bands that I contacted, she lives in New York City. I want to go to New York City, but again, costs money to go north.
Yeah.
But one of my dreams is to go up and do a whole East Coast tour and then do some Midwest. She says Michigan, Midwest. I got one friend that has connections in Chicago, and she's like, hey, if you do a show here, I'll help promote you. But again, it costs money. Yeah. So we just need to get the funds together to go do these shows, and we definitely want to. I want to come see all of your faces really, really badly, but yeah.
Yeah,
I could probably kick in a little more if I quit spending money on drum gear.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe if I stop dyeing my hair so much.
Well, that's fun though.
Yeah.
You could always do me, just not have hair to worry about.
I don't think I could pull off bald. My head's pretty big, so.
Same.
Would you do autograph photos? Yeah, we actually are going to do some autograph photos in the Patreon. So that's one of the things, and I can't remember, I think it might be the second tier, which is not very much. I think it's like $5. We'll send out an autograph photo like once or twice a year, depending on when we can do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, that's
on top of that,
that still to this day humbles me when somebody asks me for that or for a stick. It's I just don't. It's just a very humbling thing to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
thank you for all of that.
And do you guys also have merch that you sell?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we're working on new designs for the merch, and that'll come when when we're probably not going to have new stuff for the Patreon yet, but it'll come with the new song at the end of February. I have a photo shoot scheduled with our official photographer at the end of this month, and then we just need to kind of artsify it a little bit more, and then that'll probably be part of the logo, part of the new merch that comes out.
That's awesome.
It actually, I've been saying that it's basically a Dear Lilith Part 2, but I just don't want to release the title yet.
I love that song.
Yeah, so it's like bigger and better, and it's technically I wrote it almost immediately after I wrote Dear Lilith. So, yeah.
Who are some artists that you would like to collaborate with if you could?
You want to take that, Alan, and then I'll go?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be collaborate.
You want me to give more time?
Yeah, you go with that. Let me think about this one for a second.
Okay. Well, I know that there's ones that I want to collaborate with that are not bigger artists, and that's very possible. So there is a band in Pennsylvania, well, two actually. One of them is called Reign of Z. I would love to see what a collaboration between me and Zosha would be like. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. There's also a band called Storms Within. I would love to do a collaboration with Erica. Erica's got like a more like raspy type of voice, where I think that would be a really good balance between our two voices. It's like I got the pretty part, and then she's got more raspy, and I think it'd be really cool. Somebody, if I really, really could, and this would be very long shot, would be Floor Jansen from Nightwish, and then Sharon, Friend Within Temptation. So either of them would be, either of them would be like my bucket wish. One of the biggest compliments I got was that you kind of sound a little bit like Sharon from Within Temptation, and I was like, really? I don't hear it, but thank you anyway.
I definitely heard it earlier, like when we were listening to it. But there was one song, I think it was actually Dear Lilith, or it was one of the other ones, and we were sitting there, it's like, no, that sounds like Amy Lee.
Yeah. I get that it shows a lot too. One of the guys came up to me at the last show that we did of 2023, and he's like, yeah, you're like kind of like Amy Lee, but rougher, because I do screams and she doesn't. So every once in a while, I'll do a scream. You can hear it a little bit in the songs now. I got one song that I'm working on. I already sent the idea over to Jason, and it's got more of a scream in the background, and you'll hear it. So the screams you hear in the songs are me currently. It's a growl. It's not really a scream. I do a growl. But if I am going to do a scream, it's going to be like a Fry scream, and it's going to sound kind of like a pterodactyl. So I'm working on the Fry scream. I got the the growl one, I forget the actual name for it, but I got that one down pat. But the fry, I'm still working on.
It just reminded me of like that meme, like where it actually shows like people that didn't know that there's different names for different types of screens. Like, really?
I'm really good at like the guttural one. Though Jason did say that the little growl that I was doing in the background of Wrath, he said he couldn't listen to it by itself because it creeped him out. And I'm like, that's good because that's the vibe that I was going for.
Like, remember that when you piss me off.
Exactly.
What was that?
Remember that when you piss me off.
Oh, yeah. No, not him necessarily, but the vibe is, yes, the whole portion of Wrath is you pissed me off. So, yeah. So how about you, Alan? Did you figure out who you want to collaborate with?
There's just, I was sitting here thinking, there's just, I really consider myself fortunate because from a drumming standpoint, I've got to play with several very talented bassists. And from a drummer standpoint, being able to lock in with your bassist is, paramount, or at least for me it is. And, all these guys are on the local level as far as, there was Steve, obviously. There's Jason. There's Russ. There was Paul. I got to play jam with him a few times on his stuff. Somebody I would really like to sit down with and just see what we can come up with. And I apologize if you see this, Ricky, but I'd really like to sit down with Byron from Cutthroat Susie just to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
From a professional level, obviously, it never happened, but I'd like to spend a few hours with Michael Anthony. But don't know that that'll ever happen.
Maybe it will.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, he's played with Alex Van Halen, so who the hell am I?
Well, I'm in the boat of like, I'm going to be really, really optimistic about, trying to collaborate with these other really awesome, like woman-fronted bands and artists and things like that. So I think it happened one day, unless they completely quit music. I think it can happen one day.
It will.
It can totally happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. You just gotta strive for it, and you can do it.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions, JoJo, since you got on late?
No, you've actually been covering them all. I just come in to like fill up the space because somebody couldn't get on apparently.
What would you say is your favorite song to perform live?
Original or cover?
Either.
Yeah, either were.
Original would have to be Wrath. I love that song. It just, if you haven't heard it, then you don't really understand. But from a drumming standpoint, it's kind of like pulls you in, and then suddenly we just like cut it loose. And that for me is to occasionally look up and see how the crowd is reacting. That's a great feeling. Makes me want to break shit, and the shit I have is expensive. Cover wise, oh Lord, there are so many songs. I mean, we do some covers. I really, and Taryn might choke me for this on Sunday, but when we started that Cure song, I was like, why? But I really like playing that song from what they've allowed me to turn loose with it and to do. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, when it comes up on the set list, I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
I mean, I think Love Song is actually my favorite to do as a cover because I can go. I originally was doing it at the level that everybody else was covering, the Cure songs, the same, octave and everything like that. But someone in the band told me to go up the octave, like go higher and go more in your range. Because I can do lower, it's not as comfy as the higher stuff. So I would go up a little bit, and I'm inspired by the Jack Off Jill cover of Love Song. And that one, it's probably going to surprise people because, again, I do the scream, little growly bits in the background, but that's a whole growl bit in the foreground. I'm not sure how I'm going to record that, but that is one of the covers that we have planned to come out later. Not yet, but later. So I'm excited for that one. So if you haven't heard the Jack Off Jill cover, just know that there's a little surprise coming in for you.
And it's a great surprise. I love to hear that coming through my ears.
Yeah. I was actually sick like a couple practices ago, and they're like, yeah, you don't have to go full out, and I still did it. I was like, I'm just clearing out all of the congestion.
Hey, it works.
Yeah, it does. I was surprised that I was even able to get it out. And then, so original wise, it used to be Dear Lilith. That was one of my favorites, but I think now it's a tie between Done With You, especially the way I did it the last show, where I got audience participation, which I'm thinking I'm going to do every time at this point. And because it's the easiest chorus that I'm ever going to write. I don't think I'm going to write an easier chorus than that. And then Wrath is my...
You're not going to hear Done With You on the radio.
Yeah,
right.
If you've heard the song, you'll know why.
Yeah. We haven't released a radio-friendly version of Done With You, and I don't think I really want to. It just...
Yeah. I love that song, so yeah, don't change it.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah. So Done With You and Wrath are my two favorites. I really like Wrath from a standpoint of like that song, the way that song started out. The previous guitarist, I sent it to him, but prior to that, we were working on it with just the wrong people at that time because they weren't getting it. They weren't getting the vibe I was going for, and I was like, I want it to be pretty, but I want it to be heavy,
right?
Like not slow.
It nearly broke us up. It nearly broke us up.
Yeah, and once we got rid of those people and we got settled into the people that we have, well, the previous guitarist got it started, and then Jason brought it the rest of the way. But he Thomas is the previous guitarist. He got the whole deal, like what I wanted. And then Jason got the deal too, and he's just brought it the rest of the way and finished out the song. He actually fixed the little timing issue that we were having in verse 2. So that's really good. So that's probably my favorite just from a personal standpoint of how far that song has come since day one. So being able to perform it for everybody just makes my little heart happy. So yeah.
That one nearly ended us. But I've got to say that having Jason on board and having Russ on board, it's just been like a complete rebirth because their music knowledge and wanting to try different things and experiment with new stuff and just expand on what we're doing is it's great. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm sitting back there, they're talking notes and this and that, and I'm like, whatever, I just hit shit with sticks, but sit there and hear them do all the intellectual stuff on music, it's boring. Actually,
It's insane. It's not boring.
no, it is. I mean, we've been fortunate that we've crossed paths with these guys, and I think they've made us better, and the music has proven that from what we've cut loose with so far in 2023, and what we've got coming up. And we cannot leave out Jane. Jane's been awesome. She makes us look, well, for me, she makes me look really, really good. She makes my drums look really, really good. So, and she's just been a complete asset for me to have her as a co-manager for this band and helping find shows and such as that. Yeah. So we've got a great team right now, and we're just ready to. For my part, I think we're ready to just take it a step up in this coming year.
Yeah, and my husband is still working on the future music video. It is still going to come out. It just might hit Patreon first. It was intended to come out, and then we had like a stopping point. One of the problems with working with your partner is that you butt heads on the creative portion of it. And I really, really try to let him have the creative control. But at one point I looked at the tape and I was just like, my face looks stupid. So that put a whole stop to the future because we had to go back and reshoot those spots. Mm-hmm. So the whole team is really consistent of the band. And then it's Aaron, my husband, who shoots all the music videos. And then Jane, who shoots like photography and all those other fun things and does like, I think she's also doing graphic stuff, or that might be Jason that's also doing graphic stuff. But it's my whole idea of keeping everything in-house instead of trying to find people to also understand your vision. So if we keep everything kind of in-house without breaking that barrier too much, then it stays our vision rather than someone else's vision of our vision. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
that's definitely important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say Jessica was talking about how the future is her favorite. She says Alan has a cool drum fill in future.
That's amazing how they keep me and just let me do little certain things.
It's creative. It works. Just improvise and stuff, right?
It's just master.
You know, I mean, from my standpoint, I've never been one that I will never ever overplay a song. It's, you know, because one, you know, I've got the best singer in the region. I know that. And then with Jason and Russ on board, you know, with what they're doing, the way that songs are structured and such, I'm not going to overplay it. It's not about me. It's about the music. It's you know, so I'm going to do the song justice as the best I possibly can, and you know, you will never see me going, hey, can I do a drum solo? No.
So I'm very excited to see what you do with the next original, because I want it to be pretty, but I want it to be heavy, and a lot of that heaviness is going to come from you and Russ. So because it's all the under, like the bass of it, basically the bass and the beat of it. So
I'm gonna go ahead and get my brother from another Jason in trouble. I was ready to cover my drum parts this past Sunday.
Was he not ready for you?
I don't think he was.
Jason.
Damn it, Jason. It looks bad because I'm always picking on Jason. I'm really not trying to. It's just that's our relationship currently.
Oh, it's just, and the bad part about it is you put us all in a room together and just sit back and watch. Our personalities just work so well together.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. I can definitely see that. That'll be something. Be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And
one of the.
and
Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, Jason and I improv so well together. It's just not often you find that, and
Right.
our humor is about the same. So we will start improving, and then just if Taryn doesn't get control, it just goes into the gutter so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Practice is a lot of me going, okay, can we like go on now? Like, can we do work now?
That sounds like me and Jeff, actually.
It's like, yeah, I
We
don't
just
mean
look at each
to
other
be
at
a
some
control
point
freak,
and
but
we
if
just
we
know.
don't. What was that?
We just look at each other. Like, if there's somebody in the chat, like, we have a couple of people that are usually come in and they can say something. And we just look at each other. It's like, yeah, that's not how they intended it. Or that's probably how they intended it.
No, it's been a lot. I'd say this group now, there's not really a lot of weight on my shoulders or on my head or anything like that. This time last year, I was breathing a sigh of relief because I think it was this time, whenever Jason joined originally as bassist, I was breathing this like sigh of relief. Okay, we're done looking for people. We're done. I don't have to do this anymore. Like I don't have to get to know somebody else's personality and their quirks and whatever. We could just make music, and it's gonna be like the best year ever. And we were already booking shows and everything. It's like every time we say it's gonna be the best year ever, I'm not gonna say that this year. I'm just be like, it's gonna be good. We're gonna do it. But this, yeah. So at this point, I think it was like January, February. I can't remember when. The old guitarist was like, "Hey, I got medical things. I'm gonna leave," and we got on a conference call at the time, and it was just me, Jason, and I don't think anybody else was in that conference call, and Alan. I know, like you were. I was about to say, and Alan, and Jason was like, well, I could always do guitar stuff. And at that point, we were looking for a second guitarist and a bassist. And we found the second guitarist, and then we finally found bassist, which is Russ. And he actually joined right after he auditioned, and we didn't have a bassist to like do a show, and we needed a bassist to do a show, and we were like, hey, we kind of need you to like come in and do the show with us. And that night we were like, yes, you're in the band, it's fine. The second guitarist, he wasn't up to the task. He just wasn't meeting what we needed after months and months of saying this is what we need. So we're down to one guitarist, and that's perfect because we don't need any more of this stuff. So like I was saying, it's like it's been a journey, like going from the band that we had to now, of like getting the right people. Trail by fire. Yeah, it's a trail by fire. But again, it's like they'll see me as like I'm stressed, I want to get stuff done, but behind the scenes I'm just like, I don't have to worry. I hope I don't have to worry, but I don't have to worry about like them getting along or like somebody leaving. I've been assured multiple times no one's leaving, and if they do, I'm going to hunt them down and hurt them.
Oh yeah, about that. I need to talk.
Oh. I always got Richard.
But to reinforce what Taryn said, I mean, it was during this time last year when everything went down the way that it did. I got to give huge props to Jason.
Yeah.
Because that was on Friday evening when we had that conversation. And he stayed up all night Friday night and learned every single song on guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's just the level of musician that he is. And then, Russ came in and it was just like, yeah, this is great right here. I mean, because he and I, again, from a drummer standpoint, he's one of the best bassists I've ever been in collaboration with. And it's just, we hit it off and we stuck, and it's it's continued now up till now.
Right.
It's just, there's there's pressure, but there's no pressure. We go in and we're like, okay, we need to get this done. All right, done. We need to get that done. All right, that's done. And we have fun doing it. We're not really worried about, I didn't get that right. I didn't get that right. It's just, okay, we work through it. We have fun working through it, and then we make it right there when we're supposed to.
Yeah.
So it's been great. This last year, it's been really great.
Yeah, it's been fun.
That's good.
It's hard with different personalities finding the right group of people. Like just the Bangover cult, like we started with 9 different people, like from all over the world, and we learned quickly that, you know, some people aren't dedicated, some people aren't going to do anything. Now we're down to 3 people, but it's like it works, and it sounds like you guys finally have a group of people that work together, and you can definitely tell in the music. It's awesome.
That's good. I think it's gonna only get better as we keep going too. So I'm excited for the new ideas that I've put out there, that Jason's put out there. He actually was working on a remix of Goddess Rising, and then he basically it ended up being its own separate song. So I'm excited to work on that one. Russ even sent out, which I don't think I've ever had a bassist send me tracks, like almost full-on tracks. He sent me 2, and I was like, I like these. I like 3 the most. That one, it's got like, it's in that progressive realm that I love, where it like changes and goes up and comes down and then goes back up again. So I'm excited to work on that one. Once he sends me back the revisions, then I'm like, I already have lyrics for it. I have an idea for melody. It's probably going to come out sometime this year, hopefully. I don't know which song comes out when, but there's 2 at the very top that I'm super excited about, that hopefully other people will be excited about too. So
bring it on.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Do you ever find yourselves drawing musical inspiration from non-musical places?
Like the washing machine?
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that. Or like if you're out for a walk or something.
Yes, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, from a musician standpoint, you hear different sounds, and sometimes you'll recall hearing that sound, and you want to try to translate it into your instrument. So, yeah, definitely.
Sci-fi movies, I've actually heard a lot. Like, just again, like going back to certain sounds and everything. Just like some of the sound effects that they use, people just automatically they put it right in their music.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's funny that you say the washing machine though, because we had the first on last Saturday, and that's what they said too.
Yeah,
the washing machine.
Well, especially when it comes out of like balance, you have that blanket in there, it just balls to one side, and it sounds like a drum.
Yeah, there's been one time where that was happening. There was a washing machine, and there was like the little beat that was going, and I actually think that's where Wrath actually started, was the beat. And then I went to my computer and I was like, I'm gonna write down these words and all this other stuff. Weirdly, I hear music in the white noise machine, which is technically music, but it's white noise. Like I hear music in that, and I think it's just music already in my brain, and then it just kind of like comes out. And then at one point, I was traveling out where I was traveling underneath a bridge, and there was at one point we were stopped underneath the bridge, and you hear the noise from up above. Yeah. That like same repetitive noise. That's another thing that I was like, if I could go and record that and put that in a song, I would like to do that. I think I might have said that to Jason. I was like, I want you to go underneath the bridge and record the sound and use it in a song.
I've never done this before. I'm going to have to step away for one quick second. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
You're good.
Instagram's probably going to kick us off in a few minutes anyway. But it looks like Jessica in the chat said she'd love to hear you all do your take on White Rabbit.
Oh, okay. I have to refresh myself what White Rabbit, what that sounds like, because I don't have that in my head right now. But yeah. Absinthe Green. Hi. Actually, I got to talk to her a little bit through a chat. I don't think I would have known Absinthe Green if it wasn't for another radio show that's in like Europe, I believe. The name escapes my head. I just have ADHD everywhere, but it just escapes my head.
Well, that's cool. Meet people everywhere.
Yeah, but it makes it with this point where I'm like, I really want to go to these other countries, but you know, it's hard to travel to these other countries, and
right.
You gotta get a passport and all this other stuff. But like, I'd love to go to, like, we got fans in Germany, we got fans in UK. I can't remember where. If you want to say it in the chat, if you're still in the chat, where your band is from, I'll figure it out later. But yeah, so I want to travel all over the world if they'll allow me to.
Of course, they will.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
At one point, we saw like a bunch of people listening in Finland, and I was like, "That's super cool!"
That's
like,
cool. Yeah, someday you'll get to travel the world, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I've been following some bands that have been together longer than we have, and they're just now doing their European tours. So I'm just in hopes for that. Of course, the pandemic kind of shut everybody down.
Yeah.
Right.
For a while there. But again, we've only really been together since. Well, Al and I have been together since 2020, but the band Lilith Rising's only been that band since 2021. So we still got a little bit more road to go. But people are listening. So.
We have a lot more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely have
you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Stuff coming up. So, but yeah, Instagram's probably going to kick us off in like a minute. It only lets you go for an hour. But
really?
Yeah. But we'll totally have you guys back another time if you'd like. Thank you for coming on. We're so excited for all the upcoming music, and anybody who can see them, go see them, support them, and remind us when the Patreon starts.
The hope is to launch it on January 27th. I believe it's last Saturday this month. So yeah, as soon as it's up, well, we're going to tease it out a little bit, and then we'll launch it. So hopefully people will want to join. That'd be really cool.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on, guys. You enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.